Hello, Instagram. We're getting YouTube set up, and I finally figured out comments. So if you're on YouTube, you can comment in and ask questions as we go today. Today, I'm talking to the high achievers. I'm talking to the high achievers that have checked all the boxes. You've done the prescription already, and part of it feels off. Something still feels a little misaligned. Furthermore, right now, in this wild 2020 world, you see your opportunity, you see a chance to do something differently. And yeah, it's a little scary because it's different, But I'm encouraging you to go for it. And I'm going to be your support and that foundation in the midst of uncertainty so that you take a step forward. And you take a step forward with intention and authenticity. So that's what we're talking about today. Clarify your direction, take your next best step. I'm going to tell you how you can do that and how that could happen for you by the end of October. If this were to happen for you, maybe a little insight into your future would be like my client who is starting his math tutoring business in just a few days, officially launching it. And every session he beams with excitement because he can't believe that he has built his dream business, his dream job, and in turn, his dream life. Because as we explore through coaching with him and with all of my clients and with all of you in the experience, what impacts one part of our life and the insights we gain in one part of our life also impacts and has an effect on the rest of our life, all the elements of our life. It is definitely interwoven. So why am I so confident about me being able to help you clarify your direction and take your next best step, to utilize this time as a true catalyst to step into something you're really proud about, you're really proud to live? Because I've intentionally set up my October experience to be your guide. But before we get there, before we go into the experience, I want to start with a story. I had a consult call with a wonderful individual just yesterday, and we connected on a lot of things, including PhD journeys in psychology. And what came up in this conversation, and not only with her, but with so many of my consults, is that we often try on a prescriptive path and a prescriptive definition of what success is before realizing what our own is. Now, the important thing and the powerful piece that came from my consult with this woman yesterday, is when we have the space and we take a step back to consider what our version of success is, to consider our own definitions and our own desired pathway forward. Sometimes that opportunity doesn't come until a quarter life crisis or a midlife crisis. Are okay with fine. We just continue checking the boxes. We think one day we're bound to wake up and feel successful because we've done all the right things, right? Everyone around us seems to feel that this is success. Everyone around us feels that this is good enough. This is fine. This feels good. And so we keep on keeping on until when? Until when do we give ourselves permission to ask what we really desire, to ask if we are fulfilled? Sometimes we don't do this because the opportunity isn't presented for us. Sometimes we don't do this because it's scary to consider that what we have been doing, maybe for many, many years, isn't what we want to be doing moving forward. Sometimes we think that the day will come when we'll be able to take a step back and we'll be able to create space, all these boxes before we give ourselves permission to do what we want to do, to even ask the question of what we want to do. But when we do have the space, when we create the space, or when we see, as my client did yesterday on our consult call, right now is the time to ask the question about what you really want to do. Sometimes, for some of you, it's COVID and it's an external thing that has come in and has given you the opportunity to ask these questions, has given you the opportunity to get laid off from your job. And so suddenly you have the chance to pursue your own business that you said one day, whenever you had the time, you would pursue. Maybe it's just the space the space and the time and the energy. You're finally getting enough sleep because you don't have to commute to work, or someone else has inspired you and you followed them and you watched them, and maybe it's someone that you're really close with, and so you're having an intimate connection with a taste of what your dream could be, your version of that you're seeing and you're inspired by. And the big thing that I'm seeing time and time again is that we have to create that space for ourselves, or like my client yesterday, we have to see when it has been created for us. So right now may be your time to be brave and ask bold questions about what you really want, what you really desire, and then go after it. Now, sometimes that can feel daunting. I understand that. And that's where I can step in and provide you with a framework and a step-by-step process to see clearly and ask these new questions and come up with these sometimes scary answers about what it is that you want to do here in this moment, here with this opportunity that either you have chosen to create or that has been created for you. So let's talk about it. What does October have in store for you if you were to jump on and join the experience, which again, I have set up to clarify your direction and take your next best step? Your next step forward intentionally and with authenticity. Well, as some of you know, the Yes and Experience is my newest group program, my only group program to date. It started in August, and that was my direct result of COVID, my silver lining. And that is not to dismiss, sidebar, the struggles that have also come with COVID and the less than ideal circumstances. However, there are some silver linings, and the Yes and Experience is one of them. I received so many calls from you, from the Yes and community, that you were wanting a little bit more accessible support, especially during this time, that you needed a community space to feel inspired and to be around like-minded individuals who are also dreaming and asking big, powerful questions. That's what the Yes and Experience is all about. One client said, and this is after our first week in the experience together, she said, I love how one exercise took me 12 steps further into what a potential future career shift could look like. That was just 1 week into the experience, and she has now been a member for 3 months. 2 months, going on 3, August and September. Next, we're looking at clarifying our direction, taking our next best step. In August, we set our ideal schedules. In September, we addressed the self-doubt that came up naturally for many of Experience members. In November, looking ahead, we are aligning our finances with our authentic desires, values, beliefs, unique fears, and circumstances. And in October, clarifying your direction and taking your next best step. So let me get into the specifics of this. Just like all Experience months, each week is broken up into a really bite-sized practice. So the month theme is literally handed to you step by step, so you never feel overwhelmed. Furthermore, I make them bite-sized because, as I predicted and as I've seen, as we've implemented this together as a big, amazing group, when it's bite-sized, it feels accessible, and it also promotes our ability to go deeper into each question and deeper into each activity. So rather than having a meditation on Monday and a reflective practice on Tuesday and then implement it Wednesday and then do something else Thursday and come back Friday and then we do it all again next week, which already feels anxiety producing, it's spreading it out over the month. It's realizing that we all have busy lives. We all have other things on our plates. And so how can we take this into one bite-sized piece, dive really deep into it, get so much insight from it, and then feel excited about next week's activity because we're wanting more, we crave more, just like the group calls that happen every Friday. They're an hour in length, and we could talk for so many hours together. The community that has come together here is beyond my wildest dreams of incredible individuals coming together, supporting each other, and daring to dream bigger. We could talk for hours, but when it's condensed to that 1 hour, And when we structure it as I do, we take time to celebrate, we take time to reflect, we take time to get more support in the areas that we feel like we have unanswered questions, or we want to hear others' ideas into part of our experience. We then leave that conversation with wheels turning and with a desire to come back the next Friday. So for October specifically, we are starting with a meditation, and just that is week 1. It is a meditation created by me. I just did it yesterday and had some very interesting insights I'm excited to share with the group next Friday when all of you have done the meditation as well. From there, we are taking one bite from that meditation and brainstorming all the ideas of how we could make that happen. From there, we're taking action. Just like every month in the experience, action is such an important part of this process, just like with my one-on-one client work as well. I emphasize that, yes, the insights, the ahas are so fun to experience, but if we don't take action, nothing changes. If we don't take what happens in those beautiful hours together, in the beautiful practices that you experience in the experience, if you don't implement that into your life, there's so much ground that could be covered that isn't. There's so much change that could happen that doesn't happen. And so we take action during that 3rd week of October's experience, and then we build a support system during the final week together of October's experience so that it doesn't end at the end of October. That's something that a lot of experience members talked about this month in September when we addressed self-doubt. People were saying last week during week 3 already, they were saying, how do I maintain this moving forward beyond September, because it feels so great right now? And those fears were bubbling up about, how do I make this sustainable? How do I complete this over time? What happens in 3 months when it's the middle of the holidays and my self-doubt is through the roof because I'm around family that really triggers me in these certain areas? And we build systems and we brainstorm not only how to implement it now, not only how to take action and dream and go after it and clarify what feels uncertain right now at the present moment, in the present month, but also how do we set yourself up moving forward beyond October. By the end of October, I know, because I've done it and I created it and I've seen the benefits of individuals who have walked through these challenges already, that you will have a direction that not only feels clear, but feels so aligned for what you desire and what you crave. It feels that mix of excitement and scary because it feels so true to you, and yet it feels different than something you've ever done before. By the end of October, you will also have already taken action toward that aligned direction. You will already have a system and an understanding for what you crave and desire and need moving forward to ensure that this stays top of mind, to ensure that you continue down this clarified path rather than falling back to something that may be more comfortable, but you already know isn't right for you. By the end of October, you could have all of this, the supportive community, the practices step by step throughout the month, the clarified direction, the action forward for just $49. So accessible, so easy to say yes to, so much value beyond that price point. When I was thinking about what I would do if I was in your shoes, just the other day, I was looking at the Gap. Love the Gap. Love the Gap. In fact, I think everything I'm wearing is from there. And I saw a sweater for $49 and I thought, wow, someone could buy a sweater for $49, or someone could have clarity on where they're headed next, why they're headed there, a deep understanding of what that means to them, what that means to you. And you took action toward it in the midst of a supportive community and a supportive coach. I'm not bashing sweaters. Please buy all the sweaters. Abundance mindset. There's always enough. There's always enough. And really think about what this could do for you. I am so passionate. I hope that's obvious for you to see. And I know without a doubt, if you were to join, if you are feeling lost, if you are feeling scattered, if you are feeling overwhelmed at the opportunities that are in front of you or at the circumstance that you find yourself in, October's experience is for you. Get that clarity that you're craving. Reduce the overwhelm. Know your next step. Know what you are about to prioritize, what you want to prioritize. Know why. And build that support system so that not only in October, but moving forward for the rest of this crazy 2020 year, looking forward to 2021 and all that will come in that year, you will have this foundation that is built in just 30 days forevermore. One last story that I would like to share before closing is the story of one of my clients who entered coaching when she was in the midst of feeling overwhelmed, but there wasn't something specific she could really pin why that felt overwhelming or what even was off. And I bring this story, and I love this story because it's really common, I find, for individuals to not quite understand what's off and to label that lack of understanding or lack of clarity as a reason to not enlist support, which seems a little bit backwards from my perspective. However, it also makes sense because we're taught to react to things. We're taught to solve problems. And if we don't know exactly what the problem is, then what are we solving in the first place? However, when my client, we collided at exactly the right time, through our work together, we were able to not only clarify what felt off, to clarify what was overwhelming in the first place, but once we let that mud settle, let the dust settle, and we saw the picture clearly, we built a foundation of self-trust and self-confidence because of that clarity, in effect of that clarity. And from that foundation, she realized that she wants something different and really big and powerful. And she wouldn't have seen that big, powerful vision had it not been for diving in to even ask the question of something feels off and I'm not sure what. So even if something doesn't feel completely awry, even if you don't know exactly what's wrong, in a way that's even more reason to seek support. If the experience feels exciting for you, join the experience, but any support, I encourage you to enlist any support if something is feeling a little bit off. Because I've seen, just like that client who let the dust settle, who saw clearly, who built a foundation on self-confidence and self-trust because she had that clarity. And then from there, from that fruitful soil, was able to plant the seed and to start growing a big, beautiful dream, her own business, her own vision of what she wants for her life, in her career and beyond, in her relationships, in her familial relationships, in her intimate relationships, in the way that she chooses to live her lifestyle. And this is what's possible for you. In October, for $49, I would be elated to welcome you to this community of like-minded individuals who are dreaming big, who are asking the right questions. Questions like, what's your version of success? What do you actually desire? Do you actually believe that? Challenging each other to grow, to do big things, to clarify a direction that excites you and maybe scares you a little bit, and that's okay. That's good news. And I am here as your support system all along the way. So with that, if you're at all intrigued, visit yesandbymarin.com/experience. Check out what this is all about. Listen what others have said about this experience. Get your questions answered. And then if you still feel that tug on your heart, like something about this feels important, something about this is calling you, sign up. Take the leap. Jump into it. And I promise I'm here to hold you, to hold the space, to explore all of October, to get clarity on what 2020 is all about for you. What does this all mean and where are you going next? I wish you the best, no matter what you choose to do. Know I am always here for you, for everyone in this community in full support. And if you have any questions, when you visit yesandbymarin.com/experience, there's also links to contact me directly. I am happy to talk with you more. Until next Tuesday, every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., a weekly spark to help you align one step at a time, your career, your relationships, your lifestyle. I will talk to you then.